Yesterday we did these problems and we were solving them by multiplying one of the two equations, or sometimes it was two, right? Did we ever have to do two yesterday, both top and bottom? Okay, so again, today is just more of the same. We're going to continue that one because that's probably the hardest one, right? The simple addition is easy. The word problems you guys got pretty well, putting it into that format. And then doing the -1 was easy. Doing one of the two lines was easy, but now having to figure out if you're doing one or both, that's a little bit more difficult. So let's go ahead and look at them and see if you can right away notice any that are going to be really easy to do. Let me turn this light on so we have better lighting. All right, so first one. Am I going to do any multiplication with that one? Look at your papers. Am I going to have to do any multiplication on that?
No.
Nope, that one's an easy one. How about the second one? Yeah? What am I going to have to multiply by?
1.
1? What am I going to try and get rid of? My y's?
Yeah.
So what do I need to multiply by? -1. Okay, that took too long, guys. -1. You should have seen they're both the same sign, so you got to do the -1. Go ahead. All right, so let's look at number 3. Can I just add it, or am I multiplying by -1, or is there more work that I need to do? There's more work, right? So I'm going to put a little star here. How about number 4? Yeah. I can maybe turn 8 and 17 into 14 or 16, right? So I'm probably going to multiply this by what?
2.
What kind of 2?
-2.
By -2, right? Up here we decided we're going to multiply 1 by -1, right? This one we can just add. This one's going to take more work. So those are the 4 different types of problems that we've worked on this week. So today is just a simple review. You guys we're going to be doing some more work using elimination. And you will have a test not for another week. So you won't have a test next week, but when you come back the following week, you'll have a test on this. So we're going to put a good solid 2 weeks into this elimination method. Okay, so if you have any questions between now and then, it would be really beneficial for you to make sure you've done all this homework and have asked all the questions you need to. All right, so the first one we said is simple. Why is it simple? Why can't I just add it? Okay, so what are my 2 requirements? How do we say them? I have same digit, opposite sign. So I could just add those, right? My x's are going to eliminate, correct? Then I have a -7 and a +5. Here's where you guys are making a lot of mistakes. Get a piece of scratch paper off to the side somewhere. Let's see if I have one here. You don't need to show this work, but if you want to do your work right, give yourself a column, plus and minus. What is my 5? Positive or negative?
Positive.
So that's going to go on the plus side. What about my 7? Positive or negative? Okay, this one is smaller. I'm going to subtract it. What is 7 minus 5?
2.
Gives me a 2 on the negative side. So my answer is -2y. Okay, use the column method. If you use the column method, you're going to get it right every time. Okay, don't all run to get a piece of scratch paper at once. How about 5 and -1?
5 and 4.
How do you know? Because you're really subtracting the 1, right? And then we can solve our problem quite easily, right? divided by a negative is a positive. So what does y equal?
Negative 2.
-2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. Positive divided by a negative is a negative. And then I can substitute this into either one of these equations. Top one has the least amount of negatives, right? So I'll throw it into that one. -3 times x plus 5, and I'm going to substitute y. I'm going to say -2 is equal to 5. And I just keep solving it. 5 times a -2. So instead of plus, I'm going to put a minus. Right? I can say plus a negative, or I can just say minus, because when you're plussing a negative, you're subtracting. And then I can go ahead and keep moving it, right? So I want to isolate this x. So by moving my 10, I'm going to add the opposite to both sides. So now I have a -3x that is equal to 15, correct? Last step is to do what? Divide both sides by -3. So what does x equal? Right? So I can put my ordered pair over here. -5, comma, -2. And that's my actual answer. That is where these two lines would intersect. Right? Easy peasy lemon squeezy, right? So we're going to do one more. Okay, or actually we'll do a couple more. So let's look at this one on this side now. Okay, we talked about it already. We said that we can make this, we have same digit, but we don't have opposite sign. But in order to do that, we're going to multiply by a -1. So I'm going to bring my top one over. And then I'm going to multiply this out. So -1 times a -4x becomes a +4x. I get a +10y. And still 0. Right? Because anything times 0 is 0. I can now just add them up. So it's like I said, I think I told somebody yesterday, it's like combining like terms, but instead of combining them across this way, you're combining vertically, up and down. Okay? So these are like terms. So if I combine a -6x plus a 4x, what am I going to get? Say it louder. -2x. My tens is what, my y is what I'm eliminating, right? So that's 0, but I don't want to bring that down. So I have a -0, a -20 plus 0. What does that become? Still -20. Doesn't change. I didn't change it at all. 0 has no value. And then I'm going to finish it up by doing that inverse operation of dividing both sides by 2. I have a negative divided by a negative. What does x equal? +10. So I can grab this 10 and fill it into any one of these. This has a 0 in it, so zeros make my problems easier. So I'm going to go ahead and put it into this equation here. So I'm going to rewrite it as -4. X is equal to 10, so instead of x, I'm going to say 10. Right? Minus 10y equals 0. I'm going to multiply it out. -4 times 10. What does it give me?
-40.
Minus 10y still equals 0. Well, how do I move this -40?
By adding opposite.
So I'm going to add 40 to both sides. And that's going to give me -10y is equal to +40. Right? What do I divide by? -10 on this side. Sorry, running out of room. -10 on this side. So what does y equal? What does it equal? -4. So my answer would be 10, -4 in parentheses. right? So that one was easy. Still a lot of work, right? But simple because you only had to multiply one row by -1. Let's just skip to number 4 and we'll come back to 3. Okay, so the third type of problem that we worked on was where you had to multiply just one row. We looked at number 4 and we said, oh, we can fix this by multiplying that top row by a -2. So we're going to go ahead and do that. -2 times a -7 is going to give me what? Positive 14x. A negative times again a negative is going to give me a positive 16y, and that's my goal, right, to make that a positive. A -2 times a positive 10 is going to give me what? -20. And I'm just going to bring my second row right over. What? What do I get? Yeah, so what's my answer going to be? 0 equals 0, right? Because they're all going to be zeros. 14 minus 14 is? 16 minus 16 is? -20 plus 20 is? So if 0 equals 0, that means any possible number can work. This is a great solution. So your answer is a special one. We're going to call it infinitely many solutions. This is a special answer. That means that if I was to graph this line and this line, they would sit right on top of each other on the graph, and they would touch all the way to infinity. Okay? Infinitely many. This was one of your special solutions when we did graphing. Okay? I don't know if you remember that far back. It wasn't far at all. But when we graphed our solutions, one of our special answers was infinitely many. That meant that they had the same slope and the same y-intercept. Okay? Let's look at one more. Now I'm going to look at these guys. Actually, this one's pretty easy. I didn't see my y's. I could just multiply 1, right? And that's going to give me... Okay, so if I multiply my bottom number by what? -2. That'll change this into a positive 14, right? So let's go ahead and do this one. So I'm not touching the top equation. I'm going to go ahead and move it over. -7x minus 14y equals 14. And I'm going to bring this one over. So -2 times a -5 is what? Positive 10x. This is going to give me my plus 14y, which was my goal, right? And what is -2 times -2? Positive 4. Eliminate it. What is my difference here? If I did a t-chart, I'd be subtracting 7 from 10, right? So that gives me 3x is equal to what? 18. They're both positive. Divide by 3, divide by 3, what is x equal? 6. And then substitute. So go ahead and finish. Substitute your x and tell me what my ordered pair is going to be. And then we'll check it. Pick your answer. Like you might have substituted into the top one. I picked the bottom one. It didn't make a difference. The numbers were smaller. But the answers wouldn't have changed regardless of which one you did. So x is 6 and y is -4. Raise your hand if you got it right. Got a couple of you. Some of you are still struggling. All right, so we've done the top 4. You have 8 problems left to do. I'm going to give you a 4 example. We have one of our special answers, which is infinitely many solutions when this equals each other. What if your answer was 4 equals 6? Does 4 equal 6? 4 does not equal 6, right? So if that became your answer, you would have the other special answer, which is no solution. So write that down somewhere. Make sure you have that notes written down in your notes. When you do take this quiz, you will be allowed to use your notes. So it would behoove you to either have a note card or all of those notes that I have you writing down, written down on that note card or in your notebook. Any questions?